You're listening to Turi Writer's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky. It's the first podcast of the new year, and already our stay-at-home audience consists of an aquarium full of goldfish and a computer screen. But that's why you have this podcast. No matter what kind of start your new year is off to, at least you're not us. I don't know about you, but I stayed away from the computer for a few days.
Yeah.
And then when I logged back in, let's see. The first thing was that everybody desperately needed money. Like, this was my last chance
Yeah.
to give money to anybody I've ever given money to. And apparently my method of not getting on charities mailing lists by sending them a check and crossing out my address is sort of working. But
yeah.
Anybody I've ever given 50 cents to online, forget about it. So my entire inbox is clogged with, this is your last chance. And I'm thinking, somehow I feel like there will be another opportunity to give to you in the future. Somehow I feel.
I just want to answer those back and say, why do you know something I don't?
It's kind of like the Nigerian princes. There are obviously people who believe it.
Oh, it's my last chance. I better send them all my money now.
Yep.
It's like those people that or the movies where they say, doctor tells you you're going to die next week because you have this inoperable whatever, wherever in your body.
Yeah.
And so they go out and spend all their money, and then they get the phone call saying, oh, it was a mistake. There was a piece of hair on the MRI machine or whatever.
Yes. If somebody sent me a thing that said you have, 6 months to live, there's the good angel that says, I just want to give all my possessions to a foundation to promote world peace. Then there's the other part that says, I've always sort of wanted to have a private plane fly me around. That'd be fun.
I have no good angel.
Zero
The first
good
thing
angel?
that I've learned is get a second MRI, get a third one.
Yeah.
If the third one says, if the third opinion says,
Yeah, if the third one says you're doomed.
then there'd be nothing left. I would level everything. It'd all be gone.
I was the power of medical attorney for a friend. And then after she died, just towards the very end, I got her legal power of attorney in time to be able, after she died, to be able to tell all the credit card companies where she'd run up huge bills during COVID time trying to stay in her home safely. I got to tell them all, well, good luck with that. The most fun was I had put her in the very best rehab center, hopeful that she might do well. And after she died, they presented me with a bill for several tens of thousands of dollars. And I said, why are you sending this to me? And they said, well, you're responsible for her care.
You're responsible.
I said, no, actually, no, I'm not. That was a form of up your nose that I felt pretty good about. And it's not like I felt like I wanted to steal anything from this nice rehab center. It's just that they should read the fine print, especially because it's their own damn fine print. I don't know. Is good rehab only for wealthy people? Is that the deal? I guess.
A lot of stuff is only for wealthy people. In case if you haven't learned.
That's true. Like every now and then someone in authority tells you that you have done wrong or you're responsible for something. And supposedly they know everything and you know nothing, but you know that actually you know just a little bit. And so you say, actually, that's not quite true. I didn't sign that piece of paper.
Yeah.
That happened when, for some weird reason, some guy in a giant F-150 work truck for no reason at a red light threw his truck in reverse and backed into my sporty car. And
that happened to me once too.
For no reason. I don't know what that was about. And he begged to pay and not go get a police ticket. And I know better. So we marched over to the police station and we got to the counter. And magically, he had decided that I had run into him.
and your little car
My little
caused
car.
all this damage to
Right.
it.
So I thought, all right, fine. So much for your ethics and your nice guy, and I should trust you. And we walk out of the police station, and I flip the recorder on my phone on and stick it in a shirt pocket. And I say, I'm kind of disappointed after everything that you had told me you would take responsibility for. And he said, well, I had to do that. I said, I understand that. You've got a job. You want to look after your job. But do you mind just telling me why did you put your car in reverse and just back into me at a red light? And he said, I really don't know. I said, all right, well, have a nice evening. And when the insurance company said that they weren't going to pay because they weren't responsible, I said, well, that's very interesting because I have a recording of the driver of the truck saying that he was responsible. And the insurance guy said, that's illegal to make a recording. I said, you know what?
I was just going to ask you that.
You're
Is
in
that
my,
illegal?
you're in my wheelhouse now, and that recording was perfectly legal. So nice try. And it turns out actually that only might have been legal, but they backed down immediately and they paid. But a little knowledge can save you. And I saved that recording.
Do you have it still?
I have it in my old phone. Yeah, I do.
Put it on a holiday card next year.
Yeah, that would be. But some of these things are just private joys. Like that's what the Swedish death cleaning thing is all about. Like
Yeah.
my kids would not appreciate the value of that recording in the way that I do.
Well, my problem with all of this is I'm that person that would think of turning on the recorder in my pocket, but wouldn't be able to find the right button in time. And so the whole conversation would just walk away.
That's reasonable because all the video that you're always seeing of these altercations or military events or what, and you think to yourself, how the hell did they turn their phone on that fast?
I can't even get a freaking picture of my animals being cute. As soon as they see me pick up my camera, somebody is like, walks up and leaves. Walks out of the picture.
That's my luck too. I do not know how these people who just magically get the recording of every evil thing, would they just record their whole life all the time?
It's got to be. They wear their phone around their neck with the recorder turned on because I don't know how else that could ever happen.
It is kind of creepy.
I got to tell you, I managed to stay up until midnight on New Year's for I don't know, the first time since a very, very long time. And I was the only person awake in this whole, at least on our 5 acres of property. Everyone and everything was asleep except me.
How did that feel to be welcoming in the Gregorian calendar New Year all by yourself?
Well, it would have been better if the ABC network had not screwed up the whole time difference thing with its New Year's Rockin' Eve. And I stayed up to see LL Cool J at midnight. And instead, they showed a little tiny snip of LL Cool J and then that Jelly Bean guy or Jelly Roll or whatever his name is, and finishing up a song in the middle of LL Cool J. And I'm like, what? So I tried to wake my husband up and said, would you like to have a New Year's kiss? He was sleeping on the couch next to me with a dog and 2 cats on top of him.
And what did he say?
He opened his eyes. He looked at me, took off his shirt, and went back to sleep. So I think that was a no. And also that he was warm with all these animals. I don't know. I went to bed. I slept from midnight till noon is what I did.
Oh,
full
boy.
12 hours.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen very often.
This is how we separate the generations. How many of you can stay up till New Year's Eve? How many of you care that you can't stay up till New Year's Eve? The whole
And
thing.
how many of you still watch Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's with Ryan Seacrest?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I came up here and did some work, and the spouse did some work, and then I asked him at about 2 a.m. if he wanted to watch a movie, and he said, "Are you kidding? It's 2 a.m," and he went to sleep. Happy New Year.
Well, all my kids decided, I guess, to celebrate Michigan New Year, even though there's only one in Michigan. But it would have been the earliest time for everyone.
Ah.
So we all wished each other Happy New Year in Michigan, which was, I don't, 9 here.
New Year's feels so arbitrary.
Everything is arbitrary.
I just think it's interesting that you asked your husband if he wanted a New Year's kiss, and his response was to take off his shirt.
I know. Isn't that weird?
I don't.
I think
I
'cause all
don't
those
want to
animals.
comment on your
I know
sexual
you don't.
habits or your
I know you. I know.
personal
Stop, you'll
habits.
get me in trouble.
I don't want to comment on it.
I said before all this, he had all these animals on top of him.
You did
So
provide
he
that
must have been
disclaimer.
a little warm. Plus, we were in the living room, and the fish were still awake. I
Looking
forgot
at
about
you,
that.
watching you.
Yes,
You
they
had an
were.
audience.
Yep.
It's weird. In your house, it should be private, and yet somehow it's not.
No, it never is.
It's 5 acres and nobody else living on it except every animal that wants to come into your room, and also strange young adults who just wander through at odd moments.
That's true as well. We've pretty much trained them to knock. So the young adults do knock. But I have one more New Year's story before Frankie fell asleep. So it must have been about 6
Yeah.
p.m. We're watching, I don't know. We have the TV on pretty much all the time here for background noise.
Uh-huh.
Like my hearing isn't bad enough to begin with. There's always a TV on. And Robin Roberts, you know who she is, right?
She's
a
some
sportscaster, now
reporter.
she's been
Yeah.
newscaster,
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah. Well, she had this beautiful, really heavy-looking metal dress on. You know, it was gold, but it looked like it was actually made out of gold.
Huh?
And I said to Frankie, I need that dress. Right? I need it like this week. And he said, why would you need that dress? And I said, well, let me think for a minute. And I said, I need the dress so I could sit in the backyard wearing that dress and feed Kevin like fancy Ferrari chocolates.
Won't that
And
kill a
that's all
goat to eat Ferrero Rocher chocolates?
I think goats can eat anything.
Well, they'd probably
least
eat
from
your
what I've
metal
seen.
dress then, is probably
Well,
what they'd
they
eat.
would try to. Of course they would.
You
Just
don't-
like they eat my hair,
You don't
my
think
boots.
that the metal dress, though, would scare them away by reflecting strange things at their little devilish eyes?
No, I think a lot of animals, including humans, are drawn to shiny things.
So I liked your answer. You need the fancy designer metal dress so you can sit in your backyard and feed the goat fancy chocolate. That's a good answer. And what did he
Yeah.
say to that?
He said the goat doesn't deserve fancy chocolate, but he did not say that I don't deserve the golden dress.
And that's why you married him. There's a woman whom I know slightly who's in a little older than I and in the media business, and she saw online and she bought this really fancy tassellated multi-level gold. It looks like she's completely festooned with tinsel. And
Yeah.
she had to have it. And to me, it's terrible. I have a technique for ruining people's designer clothes. It's just a bad gift I have. I don't do anything to them. I just describe them in such a way that they're ruined forever in the eye of the wearer. Like the time that I described my girlfriend's Norma Kamali seersucker wrap dress as looking like it should have an ivy bottle and paper slippers, and she could never wear it again. I took one look at the gold tinsel 3-layered tassellated dress, and I said, well, if you spin around, you can wash your car. Because it does. It looks just like those brushes at the car wash, only if those brushes, those nylon red, white, and blue plastic brushes, if those were made out of gold, that's what this dress looks like.
There you go.
Yeah. There's one New Year's party I'm pretty sure I will not be invited to next year. You've been listening to Turi Writer's She Said What podcast. And you probably know about my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air. Now there's an audiobook, so you can have me with you on long drives or short commutes. And you can download it from Amazon. It also makes a lovely gift.